For a guy who loves food the way I do, there's no place like home.
What a monster fish! Hello, it's a snapping turtle balloon. Whoa!
Home for me are the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Born and raised in New York, I found a second home here in Minnesota, where I'm proud to show you what we've got cooking. The mix here of urban sophistication and Midwestern friendliness has spawned a fantastic climate for creative experimentation.
Duck's nuts. I'll have a guinea pig confit cone. The Reuben hot dish. It's one of the strangest food experiences that I've had in a long time. A little bit poopy, in a good way.
Here's a taste of what happens when Midwestern comfort food gets reimagined and reinvented by a lot of fun-loving, talented people.
It's a little warm.
And one not-so-talented New York City transplant.
That's hot. 1 or 2. How come you're not finishing that?
It's not something I cook at home.
You like it?
I'm Andrew Zimmern, and this is Bizarre Foods America. These days, the Twin Cities food scene seems obsessed with local ingredients, riffing off of local traditions, having fun with our own stereotypes. The quintessential heartland food stereotype is the hot dish, often served up with a side of Jell-O salad. It has its roots in farmhouse kitchens as a way to make the most of whatever fresh, canned, or leftover food was available. Today, it's a source of fun, nostalgia, and competitive cooking.
Spam, beans, pretzels, scallions, ketchup.
Very weird.
Welcome to the taste of Minnesota.
I've been invited to be a judge at one of the regular hot dish cook-offs hosted by the Minneapolis VFW. But before we get down to business here, let me take you to the home of Faith Farrell for a first-hand look at how hot dish is created. Faith is endearingly known as the Spam Queen. She turned Spam into food art. Spam was invented and is still manufactured right here in Minnesota. An ironic twist considering that I live in the state famous for making one of the few foods on earth I really don't like.
It's convenient. You can bring it camping. It stays forever. You don't have to refrigerate it.
It stays forever, and you don't have to refrigerate it, yet it's made of
Meat.
Step 1 of Faith's hot dish, Spam. Soaked in beer, browned off and caramelized. Step 2.
I pre-bake grand rolls. So, and that's going to give it a nice, heavy, bready texture on the bottom. There's cream cheese, sour cream, anything to make it creamy, dreamy. Red and green peppers, green onions, and leeks. Cream soup, because you have to put some cream soup. Turnips for crunch. Woo! Oh, and half and half.
the raw turnip, sour cream, cream cheese, Spam quotient in here. This smells so foul. I can't even really.
And for a crowning touch, potato chips.
There's nothing like crunchy soft, especially with a hot dish.
Great food's all about texture.
I'm going to be doing a surprise on the top of this.
Don't tell me.
I won't.
Faith is one of 25 contestants at today's cook-off. The food will be judged, then eaten. Hot dish suppers go with humble settings. Church basements, school cafeterias, and downstairs here at the VFW. Faith calls this dish Spam a Soda Surprise.
Oh my.
It looks like a 7th grade cooking project. It's supposed to be Paul Bunyan and his really bad Spam acts.
Look at that. Got a nice chunk of Spam. That's dairy fat napalm right there. The cheesy, saucy thing with the bread and the potato chip in between actually makes me like Spam. No, do not tell anyone. That's really...
This might be the culinary moment of my life.
That's a guilty pleasure.
Thank you,
Nice
sir.
job.
Thank you.
Hot dish is part of the family history of just about anyone who grows up around here. So a competition like this draws a range of contestants, from respectable grandmothers to Harley-riding mamas.
You took a taste before you
No.
stacked it in there.
No.
You haven't tried your...
Honey, I've been out drinking on the bike all day.
Voila. Only in Minnesota.
The VFW usually does its cook-offs as charity fundraisers. There's a cash prize of $100. But this is more of a social event than a fierce competition. The typical Twin Cities blend of farm kitchen wholesomeness and funky urban chic is reflected in my two fellow judges, Ann Burkhart and Leslie Bach. Leslie is a restaurateur who owns Psycho Susie's Motor Lounge, a tiki bar pleasure palace with a menu that puts its own unique spin on traditional foods. Ann is the former food editor for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune and the author of A Cook's Tour of Minnesota. And both are Midwesterners, born and bred.
So basically, hot dish DNA is coursing through both of your veins.
Yes, of course.
Right? I'm
Yes.
from New York. I didn't eat a hot dish or a casserole until I moved here.
Gail Farrell manages this VFW and runs the events here.
These are the rules. You are required to taste every dish, mark it from 1 to 10. When you're all done tasting every dish, pick out the top 3 in both categories.
Right.
And then you guys make the decision which one wins the Jell-O and which one wins the hot dish. Go.
With clipboards and a basket of tasting forks, we're off.
Here we go.
Most of these hot dishes are like Faith's Spam soda, mixing meat, vegetables, starch, and a lot of creamy stuff. A hot dish is usually pretty sturdy and predictable.
You can't go wrong with tater tot hot dish, though.
You can't go wrong with a tater tot.
No, you can't.
No.
But sometimes it can surprise you.
Oh, hell.
The flavor of this dish is fantastic.
It's good. You like
Really
this?
good.
Yeah, I like it.
Other times, the surprise isn't so good.
Smoked trout casserole.
Scares me.
And sometimes it can push the definition of what hot dish really is.
The Reuben hot dish. When something is really difficult to eat.
It must be good.
Oh, hello. Hard to eat, great flavor.
I agree.
It's impossibly bad on 1,000 levels, except the taste is great.
The Reuben meets my colleagues' hot dish criteria. The deep-fried meatballs on a stick does not.
I don't think this counts as a hot dish. Shall we disqualify this one?
You are a hard ass. Unbelievable. No. I love you because the thing that I admire are standards and morals and stick-to-itiveness.
Let's get rid of this. Yeah, okay.
With the Jell-O, modernist cooking meets Lutheran church basement DNA. This is raspberry Jell-O, chilled with liquid nitrogen.
This is so cold, it actually freezes it quickly enough so that no particles or grit form. So it makes it so smooth.
It's 100% natural.
Or cherry Jell-O, spiked with vodka.
I want to see you shoot that down like a sailor. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, there's booze in there.
It does have quite a bit. I'm surprised.
There's a lot of booze in there.
I'm surprised it gelled. Shocking.
By the way, you've done that whole knock it back thing before.
Oh, yeah.
I love her. Oh.
Jamie's Jell-O.
Where's Jamie? She's right here. Let me ask you a question. You spent too much time in the sun today, didn't you?
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
The texture is a little bit mealy with the cottage cheese in there.
It's just dry Jell-O, too.
It's so,
Dry
you don't even-
Jell-O. You don't even have to cook. It's dry Jell-O.
Hold on. You didn't even let the Jell-O.
No.
So dry Jell-O, cottage cheese,
And Cool Whip.
fantastic. The holy trinity of dessert salad hot dishes.
I know.
This may rank as one of the all-time worst foods I've ever eaten.
All right, I win. All right.
The time has come to tally the results, confer, and award the $100 prizes.
Well, this is the end of our contest, and the winner will be announced right now. The elk hot dish. Congratulations! Wonderful, we loved it. And now it's time to announce the winner of the Jell-O contest. Ann?
Yes, it's the frozen raspberry Jell-O with the fresh raspberries on top, my dear. There's your...
There you go. You can celebrate. The judging is over. Yeah, toss that down. That was great. Nice going.
The same playful try-anything spirit of a hot dish cook-off inspires some of the most creative kitchens in the Twin Cities. Similarly motivated, I'm going to try creating my own hot dish as a new item on the menu at one of the Twin Cities' most popular restaurants.
You were right about
But
that.
first, I wangled an invitation to our prize winner's farm
Yeah, you know.
to do a little old-fashioned turtle hunting. Using an air compressor to get it ready for eating.
Whoa! Hello.
It's a new tradition in the making.
Whoa!
I'm setting out with Greg Robinson to help feed his livestock. All we need is a 900-pound bale of hay and a .50 caliber pistol. We need the extra security because of General Lee, the 700-pound alpha male of Greg's elk herd.
He's not ornery, he's just protecting his turf.
He's charged the pickup truck in there, and
He's charged the pickup truck.
yeah.
Interesting.
I met Greg and his wife Patty at the Hot Dish Cook-Off in Minneapolis, where her elk dish won first prize. And I got myself an invitation to see where their main ingredient comes from. It turns out the meat that went into Patty's hot dish came from a young male elk that General Lee gored to death. The farm is just 30 minutes south of my home. Greg and Patty acquired this elk herd when a friend decided to get out of the herding business.
And just out the back?
Yep.
One giant bale can last the general and his family about a week.
Oh yeah, look at that. Here he comes.
At this point, the question is, will he go for the hay or keep coming towards the truck?
Oh, big guy. He's worked up.
Remember, that's a 900-pound bale of hay.
He'll roll that around like it's a beach ball. Just incredible strength.
Unbelievable.
When he does stop playing with the hay, he starts to notice the truck.
I don't like him when he walks away from the bale.
Seems like now might be a good time to head for the river. Because that's where Greg tells me there's something else that's good to eat that can also be a little dangerous.
And there's the trap, huh?
The Vermilion River runs right through Greg's backyard. We're out here to check one of Greg's snapping turtle traps. This, too, is a delicate operation.
I've seen one take an aluminum seat in a boat and take a bite out of it. They're like can openers,
You
those
really
mouths. I mean,
don't want one to
huge
get a
beak.
hold of you.
Oh.
But yeah, I just lift them up and
Look at the algae,
Yep, algae
whatever,
growing on there.
his tail. Never take your eyes off the turtle.
walk him down.
Oh
there,
yeah,
Frank.
look at that mouth. Now this is the part that's most fun.
There's a little trick to it.
Beautiful. Look at, he's putting his neck out.
Even if you're 6 inches away from the trap, they can stretch their neck out and get a piece of you, and they're lightning speed.
I love that. Lunch is in the bucket. This is great.
Oh, that was nice.
As you'll see, butchering a turtle can be a complicated job. Greg's got this down to a science. First, get the turtle to extend its neck.
Got him?
Yep.
Then remove the head. That's the quickest, most humane way to dispatch an armored animal. You'd think that would be the end of it.
This turtle is still moving, walking with those long claws. You still got to be really, really careful.
This animal's nervous system is the kind that will keep the muscles moving hours after it's dead. So Greg has a special way of minimizing that extra movement.
Amazing.
He uses an air compressor inserted down the neck to inflate the carcass.
Whoa, whoa, hello. That is insane.
It actually will separate the skin from the meat and makes it that much easier to skin them out.
My job is to hold the neck tight around the hose, like holding the neck of a balloon.
Go for it. Whoa! Excuse me, I had chili for lunch.
We'll give them another shot if you think you can hold on to that.
Yeah.
Oh! Hello!
Got him. That did it. Now just let the air out real slow.
It's a snapping turtle balloon.
With the legs stiff and motionless, Greg can butcher the turtle. After soaking in salt water, the pieces get chopped up, parboiled to soften the meat, breaded, and deep fried. While we're working out in the garage, Patty is grilling up elk kebabs. This meal is becoming a Minnesota version of surf and turf.
I can smell the love and seasoning on this.
Oh, yes. I had them marinating. Good. I'm glad you like.
The reason that I love elk so much is that it tastes like beef should. You don't get a rich fattiness after it that sometimes is a little off-putting. All right, turtle time.
Fantastic.
There's a richness to the meat that I'm just nuts about with turtle. And it really does taste of the river. And that's what I love. It tastes like fresh water and leaves and the river and the ground. And this tastes like Minnesota. It tastes like a warm day in October. I love this place. Don't be jealous. You come visit us.
Anytime.
Anytime.
From this peaceful paradise, I'm heading into the chaos of a busy downtown restaurant.
This handle is a little warm.
In a place where they like to play with classic comfort foods, they're giving me a chance to create my own version of hot dish with my own choice of ingredients.
When I said beautiful little young intestines, you guys weren't kidding.
When you've worked in the business for a long time, walking into a restaurant before service always feels like you're a performer entering the theater on a show night. Ready to deliver, jazzed up, and nervous in a healthy way.
How are you? This is so exciting. By the way, if I don't say it often enough, thank you so much for letting me do this.
This is, note the spelling, Haute Dish. It's a restaurant in the Minneapolis Warehouse District. Like their name suggests, they enjoy taking the notion of traditional Minnesota comfort food and giving it a very untraditional spin. On one hand, this is a classic terrine, the fine art of charcuterie. It's also a meat cake made with chopped liver, cream cheese frosting, and smoked raisins. Steak tartare is served with the egg in a toast box. Ants on a Log is reinterpreted with an Asian spring roll vibe, and the house salad has the nerve to use iceberg lettuce. But look how it's all dressed up. Executive Chef Landon Schoenfeld is clearly a man who likes taking risks. Tonight, Landon's not here, and he's taking a really big risk. He and his general manager, David Walters, have agreed to let me put my own spin on traditional hot dish. Among the key ingredients, goat kidneys, livers, and uterus, along with fresh pig intestines.
Do you smell this? Yeah. I mean, those are extraordinarily fresh, but there's no doubt at all as to what body part this is if you were blindfolded.
Offal was a key ingredient for hot dish in farm kitchens a few generations ago. What's old is new again.
This is going to be blanched and chopped because I want people to bite into pieces of that. Because once it's really tender, it's going to cook for a long time. So it really is, you're not loving this, are you?
I just want to see what happens.
And so do we all. The recipe goes like this. The liver, uterus, and intestine are slow cooked until tender with finely chopped celery, onion, carrots, a little rosemary, thyme, and garlic, some red wine, veal stock, and a little patience. All simmered until the flavors have come into focus. It's a recipe I learned years ago working at a little restaurant in Florence, Italy. Instead of mixing all the components together, I'm making them separately and assembling them in layers. The bottom layer is the stewed offal. Next layer, instead of the classic can of cream mushroom soup mixed with vegetables, I'm using pureed watercress and English peas, seasoned with creme fraiche and mint, then heated to order in a saute pan and evened out with a bench knife, or whatever else happens to be lying around. And for the third layer, store-bought, deep-fried tater tots. Doesn't get any more Midwestern than that. We're coming up on dinner hour. Part of the daily ritual at a restaurant is telling the waitstaff all about the new specials on tonight's menu.
This is this hot dish. It's almost like a shepherd's pie, kidneys, livers.
This is my first hurdle. If these people don't like it, they won't want to sell it. Reactions range from the enthusiastic
that was wonderful
to the bewildered. To complement the hot dish, my special will also include a more delicate creation served as a complimentary first course.
Grilled kidney with salad of mushroom, lemon, olive oil, and celery cutting.
I really like that.
Yeah, no, that's a killer.
With these last adjustments backstage, the curtain goes up and the audience begins to wander in and take their seats.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, here we go.
And the show must go on.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. I mean, flavor-wise, where it is right now.
3 specials.
5 all day.
5 all day, yeah.
This handle is a little warm.
Specials are 2, 3, and 4, and one of those.
That's hot. 1 or 2.
I'm waiting on my first course.
From here on, the Andrew Zimmern hot dish is just one more $15 entree on a crowded menu.
We're featuring tonight a hot dish, Andrew Zimmern's Offal hot dish.
Among those who do try it, reviews are mixed.
How come you're not finishing that?
I'm not a big kidney eater.
It's a provocative dish.
It's not something I cook at home.
No, but it's provocative.
What was that undelicious thing?
Goat uterus. It was a little barnyardy.
Yes. I'm live tweeting.
Let me see. I ate it. I ate the uterus.
But the test I'm most anxious about is when my 2 fellow judges from the VFW cook-off come to check things out. There's Leslie Bach.
You like it?
When I think of hot dish, I think of cheesy. It's not cheesy. It's not noodly, but it's got tots. So that's a good feature.
Leslie looks for the positive. If that's the best she can say about my work, I could be in real trouble when this woman tries it.
The only person that I care about liking this dish is Ann Burkhardt. Because she is one tough badass.
So the chef gave up his place tonight to Andrew, is that it?
That's exactly right.
Yes. Oh, that was nice.
Bizarre hot dish tonight.
Yes, I'm sure it isn't that bizarre. We'll see.
The moment of truth has arrived.
So scale of 1 to 10, 1 being horse crap, 10 being, wow, that's a stunner of a dish. Be honest, give me a number.
Oh, 9. Definitely a 9.
For this kind of cooking, that's as good as a Michelin star. My hot dish caught some of tonight's diners by surprise, but when it comes to food, this town is full of surprises. Surprises inside and outside some of our burgers. Cones that contain roasted pulled guinea pig instead of ice cream. And some brand new cuts of meat created by gluing bits and pieces together. Just stick with me. I'll show you where some of the best tasting secrets are. My job gives me the chance to explore culture by eating amazing foods all over the world, and to make new discoveries too. When I'm home, the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul give me the very same opportunity. Sometimes in the most unexpected places. Like food trucks. I mean, what could be more predictable than a grab-and-go snack from one of these?
I'll have a guinea pig confit cone.
You heard right. In the middle of the pork belt, the pig at the Hola Arepa truck is Guinea, South America's culinary cornerstone.
Look at that beautiful artisanal hand-crisped tortilla, pulled guinea pig. I love me some guinea pig. Little bits of tomatillo salsa, a little bit of pickled onion. Is there avocado on that?
It's an avocado sauce.
Unbelievable.
Burke Grudem's guinea pigs are farm-raised. It's a whole lot cheaper than raising hogs. And the flavor?
Salty, smoky, yummy guinea pig barbecue goodness. That's fantastic. People don't understand it tastes like crispy, yummy roast pork shoulder. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Burke and his team are offering exotic fare in an effort to make the unfamiliar familiar. At the Blue Door in St. Paul, they're playing with bar food, creating variations on a traditional local theme. Back in the 50s, a couple of neighborhood bars in Minneapolis originated the Juicy Lucy, a cheeseburger where the cheese is inside the burger. 2 generations later,
So on a Cajun Bluesy, Jiffy style.
the Juicy Lucy is being reinvented across the river in St. Paul. At the Blue Door, they still put melted cheese inside the burger. But they're playing off the original by devising some new combinations for toppings and stuffings. The Cajun Bluesy uses pepper jack and diced jalapenos on the inside. And on the outside, it's topped with bacon and a thick schmear of peanut butter.
The flavor combination is fantastic. Think about a cross between Szechuan-style cold peanut butter noodles with sesame paste
and the thrill of eating a Thai beef salad. Peanut butter works beautifully, and what you really need is those jalapenos, the heat, tying everything together. As innovations go, this is as basic as it gets. But some of the most creative cooking in town happens in equally unpretentious places. Like the innocent-looking suburb of Robbinsdale, where a little storefront restaurant called Travail is attracting a lot of attention. Travail is run by a motley crew of tattooed renegades. They take the orders, make the food, and serve it up. The Twin Cities' access to farm-fresh ingredients and openness to innovation is making them a promised land for culinary bohemians from all over the country. I'm here to get a closer look as the lunch rush is winding down and the staff is just a little less crazed. At the ripe old age of 26, Chef Mike Brown is the leader of this pack.
We've all worked in fine dining our entire lives. The majority of the kitchen is not even from the state. I have 2 or 3 chefs living with me right now.
Also, I happen to think of restaurants in the best possible sense as pirate ships.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're all wearing bandanas and you look like Jack Sparrow if he ate a lot of organ meat,
yeah,
gives me a feeling like I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
Mike and his band of culinary pirates are making food that got Travail listed as one of America's top 5 new restaurants in Bon Appetit magazine. Things like this little delicate appetizer of
duck's nuts.
Yep, duck testicle, brined and breaded and served on a bed of radish and arugula.
That is good food. Ooh. Everyone who tastes this loves this. They are so perfect and so delicate, and it is just,
it's done.
Creamy. It's just got such a beautiful, faint little nutty, minerally, livery.
Nutty?
And it's just perfect.
They fashion some beautiful-looking food art here at Travail, but they also like slipping in some surprises, disguised as ordinary bar food. One bite will tell you it's not. Let me show you what's really inside this butter burger. Sirloin and big slabs of butter, ground up together, and then there's fat, trimmed from the sirloin, roasted and filtered until it becomes this, pure, rendered, aromatic beef fat that's then paddled into the buttery sirloin.
So when you render that fat and put it back into the burger, you're basically putting that roasty, toasty, beefy fat flavor through the entire burger, and you can taste it.
You get the idea. The Twin Cities are honeycombed with ordinary-looking little places where you can drop in to find brilliant people constantly coming up with bold new creations. One of the most creative works in a place that looks like a corner store in South Minneapolis. It's called Piccolo. It's one of my favorite restaurants, here or anywhere. Small space, small kitchen, small portions. From a menu where everything changes every day. Chef Doug Flicker makes it his mission to prove giant flavors come in small packages. And his kitchen is all about minimal waste, maximum effect.
If someone comes to this restaurant, I have a certain obligation to feed them something that either they've never had before, or can't possibly make themselves. Otherwise, why would you come here?
One of Doug's consistent memes is to create food that, quite literally, never existed before. He does it using a powder with an imposing name.
Transglutamase.
Transglutamase.
Known more simply as...
meat glue.
That's right, meat glue. A tasteless, edible powder that chemically binds proteins together.
When you squeeze your fingers together, you can see how it's just binding.
To show me what that can do for food, Doug's got me helping him prepare one of tonight's entrees, combining duck breast with partridge.
So I need you to turn that guy into this guy.
While I'm deboning the next partridge, Doug is taking the tasty but tiny pieces of another one and combining them with duck tenders, the little scraps of breast that usually get tossed or turned into snacks for line cooks.
Take the meat glue.
Next, come thin slices of brioche. Onto that rich French bread, Doug adds another layer of glue and tops it with slices of lardo, pure cured pork fat.
The other beautiful part of this is as the
oh my God,
the partridge cooks and the fat gets released, it all gets absorbed right into the brioche.
The glue takes the world of meat proteins, all those different flavors and textures, and binds them into something entirely new.
And that becomes that. There's dark meat, white meat, there's a layer of the lardo, and just a really thin layer of the brioche.
Now you just cut a small wedge, sear it in a saute pan, serve it with a garnish of cherry and mushroom.
Ah, God, that is a gorgeous dish.
It's like summertime.
The meat is so beautifully nuanced. That crispy partridge skin, oh my goodness. That's just the essence of great poultry. And the lardo provides all the fat that the breast meat of that animal does not have.
It's gone in just a few bites. Part of Doug's philosophy is always leave them wanting just a tiny bit more. It's genius, but it still comes down to playing with your food. And having fun with food doesn't just happen in restaurants. In Minnesota, there's always a lake not too far away, and our newest lake sport combines hunting and fishing for a fish that's considered a public enemy.
Wowza! Do you know what I do to invasive species? We eat them.
No, we're going to eat them.
In Minnesota, the real wilderness is never far away. Landscapes like these are less than an hour's drive from downtown Minneapolis or St. Paul. I experience real joy far afield in the woods and on the lakes. And that's new for me. Since moving here 2 decades ago, I've become something of an outdoorsman. Tonight, I'll be hunting and fishing, stalking our prey with a bow and arrow in a boat.
There's one, right there.
Got him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
There are a lot of Minnesotans who won't touch these creatures with a 10-foot fork. This is what we came for. The common carp, widely considered to be garbage with gills. Carp were imported into Minnesota's waterways 100 years ago to provide more plentiful game fishing. Too plentiful, as it turned out. Carp have become a threat to the ecosystem, and most fishermen loathe them for driving out native species. Out of the sturdy stew of a hunter's bloodlust, some high-tech equipment, and an abiding hatred of the invasive carp was born the sport of carp bow fishing. It's a year-round sport with no limits.
Compound bow.
Brian Petchel is president of the Land of Lakes Bow Fishing Association. He and some of his fellow carp hunters are getting ready to take me on a nighttime safari. In late summer, the carp are more active in the cool of the evening. Before we head out, we get a taste of the target.
This is my motivation. This is the carrot before the horse, so to speak. All right, game one.
Some carp here for you.
A fish that many people say is inedible. Oh, that looks good.
Carp is edible, but it usually tastes like the muddy lake beds where it finds food and is disgustingly oily and fatty. So most of these guys use carp as garden fertilizer, not food. But Brian knows at least one man who thinks otherwise. Glenn Renier has spent years figuring out how to make carp into good food. So we've invited him to bring us a sample of his work. Glenn brines his fish for 12 hours, smokes them over oak until they sweat out the oily fat that gives the meat its greasy texture, and purging it of its muddy flavor by allowing the fish to take on the taste of the wood smoke.
I had no idea it would be so red. It's like pork.
Yeah, it's awful red meat on them.
And a couple little bones.
Yeah.
For some of these guys, getting a tasty bite of carp is a whole new experience.
Almost tastes like ham, doesn't it?
Almost. That's what it tastes like. Really good ham. It tastes like pork that ate a lot of fish. Is really what it tastes like. What do the carp in this lake eat?
They're bottom feeders, so they basically they'll stir up the sediment of the lake, and they'll feed off of that.
Repeatedly stirring up the sediment can mess up the whole ecosystem.
Do you know what I do to invasive species?
Hopefully we hammer on them.
We eat them.
No,
we eat them. All right, now I'm more motivated. I'm glad that we did this first. Motivated students are faster learners.
I'll be learning how to handle one of these, a hunting bow, tricked out with a reel of fishing line.
All right, this is awesome.
You're gonna have a blast.
This is gonna be fun.
Yep.
Brian is sending me out with Patrick Kirschbaum and Carl Sasson, two of Minnesota's most experienced bow fishermen. We're heading out at twilight on a perfect evening.
Yeah, that's right. Minnesota. Is this great or what?
The boat is customized, like the bow, with a shooting platform over the bow and floodlights to illuminate the water. Some hunters spend up to $100,000 pimping out their rides.
What are you guys looking for when it comes to a place to do this? Are you actually spotting the fish, or do you go to a spot and wait for them?
We keep moving around using an electric trolling motor till we see the fish.
In the middle of Big Marine Lake, Patrick identifies a spot that looks promising. Quiet, wide open, and flush with the weeds and reeds where carp like to lurk.
See the weeds? You see the twitch?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, the weeds are moving. That was crazy.
I just caught a glimpse of its back as it swam away.
You just want to see one just sitting there.
Yep, close and personal.
Oh, my gosh.
Right there.
Yep.
Aim low. Your height was excellent. You shot just a bit to the right.
You can't afford a moment's hesitation in a sport like this.
Where? That little one?
2 shots, 2 misses. Even the pros can't win them all. Targets get scarce in the late summer when the water temperature goes up and the carp stay down, even at night. But there's still plenty to see.
Beaver.
Where?
Right there. You see his tail?
Huge! Look at that. How amazing is that?
And there's other nuisance fish that are always in season.
Oh, look at that! Wow! That is a marksmanship award.
It's a hit, but it's not a carp. It's a bullseye through a bullhead, another garbage fish.
You have got to be very good with one of these to shoot an 8 to 9 inch long fish in a moving boat at night.
It's coming up on midnight. We've been out here 2 hours. When the big one comes, and things happen fast.
There's one, right there.
You got him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That is a huge fish.
A huge spawning female, roe sac still intact.
Wowza. What a monster fish. Nice job, guys. I will point out 2 nice shots right in the center of that animal. You guys know what you're doing.
Good thing they do, because I missed again. And there's a customary ritual out on the lake that the guy who misses the shot kisses the fish.
I love carp.
But as any hunter or fisherman knows, there's much more to being out on the water on a night like this than just finding your quarry.
The most amazing part of hunting and fishing is just hanging out. It's so beautiful, and you're having a good time with friends. There's nothing like it.
This is a classic Minnesota scene. This isn't a scene most people expect to find around here.
It's one of the strangest food experiences that I've had in a long time. This is just earthy, livery, a little bit poopy, in a good way.
Eating food that's just a few hours out of the field is a Twin Cities summertime tradition. From May into November, farmers markets sprout all over town. For my money, the best is the St. Paul Farmers Market. And some of the very best is the produce from farmers who brought their skill here from the mountains of Southeast Asia. They are the Hmong. That's Hmong, spelled with an H, the largest Asian community in St. Paul, which is now home to the largest Hmong population in the world. The Hmong are tribal people who helped the United States during the Vietnam War and had to flee their homeland when the Americans withdrew. For their own tastes and tables, the Hmong have their own market. On summer weekends, this old lumber yard in St. Paul becomes a little piece of Asia. Everything laid out just like I've seen it half a world away.
Vegetables on one side, clothing over here, prepared foods over there. It is a central hub of the community.
But we tried to make it like not the usual shopping center type of environment. So we can make our people, our elders, comfortable coming here.
Ying Zhang is the market's general manager. He and his parents were among the refugees who arrived in St. Paul, bringing to the Midwest a whole world of new flavors.
What a beautiful mix of herbs this is. Yeah, mixed herb.
Yeah, she says it's herbs and we use them for a chicken broth.
Season your broth with a bundle like this, and you've got the genuine taste of Asia.
So you basically have everything you need in one pouch. You can't replicate that. That's the part that's not in the cookbook.
The Hmong don't have much in the way of cookbooks. For most of their history, they haven't had a written language, and there weren't any tools for measuring out ingredients. So this market represents centuries of oral traditions. You can see it in the raw materials and taste it in the finished products on sale in the market's food court. With Yingzhang's guidance, we're assembling a lunch of Hmong specialties. This is papaya salad, made to order with plenty of red-hot chilies.
Look at this. She's going to let them taste it to make sure it's the right heat, I'm guessing.
Also on our menu, crispy intestine. And once we're seated, one of the vendors brings us something she says we have to try.
The bitter bamboo soup?
Bitter bamboo soup, yeah. She says this is like one of the elderly's favorite.
Bitter bamboo soup is bamboo shoots, mixed with little bits of pork. It's also a favorite of Ying's grandfather.
So he was like, okay, Ying, I'm hungry. And I'm like, okay, you're hungry, Grandpa, what would you like? You know what to get, why do you ask me? He's like, okay, I'll get it.
It's one of the strangest food experiences I've had in a long time.
That is so bitter.
It's the bamboo that makes it bitter.
That's like kill your mouth bitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
That's what my grandma asked me why I like it. She's like, why do you like it, Ying? Why do you eat this with me?
The papaya salad is pretty amazing too. An incredible mix of flavors in each bite.
It's just fantastic. Sweet with palm sugar, acidic with the tomatoes and chilies and lime, sour with the lime, bitter with the raw eggplant in there.
Bottom line, people making food in this place are bringing centuries of know-how to what they do. And that's why it's the ideal place to eat a plate of pig intestine.
That is sublime. This is just earthy, livery, a little bit poopy, in a good way. Delicious swiney flavor, not too overcooked, still a little chewy. Hmong like it chewy.
Yes.
So many people are scared to eat offal in a place they don't know, but what most people forget, these people eat it all the time. It's fresher here than in that little gastropub down the corner where everybody likes to see it on the menu, but nobody's ordering it.
By honoring their traditions, the Hmong are adding something new to the local food scene. We've got a lot of good things going for us here in the Twin Cities. It's a great place to live, it's a great place to raise a family, and it's a great place to eat, with a culinary style all its own. The food scene here is fun and friendly and a lot more complex than its old white bread reputation. Midwestern, cosmopolitan, traditional, innovative. Put it all together, and for me, it tastes like home.
So just remember, when you're in the land of 10,000 lakes, if it looks good, eat it.